नमस्कार, गुड इवनिंग टू ऑल। आपका दोस्त और होस्ट सुनील शर्मा आज के इस वेबिनार में दोस्तों आप सभी का स्वागत करता है। इस खूबसूरत लाइन के साथ में दोस्तों आज का वेबएक्स पे जो तमाम लोग जुड़े हैं दोस्तों, आप सब लोग जो देख रहे हैं उनके लिए बड़ी खूबसूरत लाइन के साथ में मैं स्वागत करता हूं। ना संघर्ष ना तकलीफें दोस्तों, कोरोना काल चल रहा है। ना संघर्ष ना तकलीफें, फिर क्या मजा है जीने में। ना संघर्ष ना तकलीफें, फिर क्या मजा है जीने में। तूफान भी रुक जाएगा, तूफान भी रुक जाएगा जब लक्ष्य रहेगा सीने में, जब लक्ष्य रहेगा सीने में। और दोस्तों हमारा लक्ष्य सीने में रहेगा और लक्ष्य हमारा बड़ा होना चाहिए। और लक्ष्य यदि बड़ा रहेगा तो हम आगे जीवन इस संकट काल में, ऐसे जो महामारी और इस तरह के संकट विपरीत समय में हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं जीवन को। और बीमारी कोरोना की हो या कैसी भी बीमारी हो, आर्थिक व्यवस्था से लड़ने की बीमारी हो, उससे हम लड़ सकते हैं बेहतरीन तरीके से। दोस्तों इस लाइन के साथ में आप सभी का स्वागत करता हूं। और जैसा कि आज का हमारा विषय है दोस्तों वेबिनार का, विल्स एंड स्टेट प्लानिंग इश्यूज ऑन प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स इन CHS कोऑपरेटिव हाउसिंग सोसाइटी। एंड इस सब्जेक्ट पर ज़्यादा संजय रेगो जी, एडवोकेट संजय रेगो जी जानकार एक्सपर्ट है, वो आज के हमारे कीनोट स्पीकर हैं। वो इस बारे में बताएंगे। और दूसरा हमारा सब्जेक्ट है दोस्तों ए होलिस्टिक क्लाउड बेस्ड अकाउंटिंग सॉल्यूशन फॉर एवरी हाउसिंग सोसाइटी। इस विषय पर हमारे मोहित बेलानी जी जो आज के कीनोट स्पीकर हैं, आज हमारे रुचिर आ नहीं सके तो उनके कलीग हैं मोहित, वो इस पे लेक्चर देंगे। तो बताएंगे, दोनों ही महत्वपूर्ण विषय दोस्तों, MCS एक्ट और तमाम हाउसिंग सोसाइटी के विषय हम उठाते हैं ट्यूसडे के दिन। और एवरीडे हमारे वेबिनार होते हैं, सिर्फ संडे को छोड़ के दोस्तों। महासेवा और MNS मीडिया न्यूज सर्विस की ये जो पहल है दोस्तों, इस तमाम आपकी जो विचार आते हैं उसको भी हम आगे बढ़ाते हैं तमाम पार्टिसिपेट के, और आप में से लोगों के हम विषय लेके आगे बढ़ते हैं। तो आप हमारे नंबर भी मेरा नंबर भी शेयर करूंगा, आप हमसे व्हाट्सएप पे बात भी कर सकते हैं, व्हाट्सएप पे मैसेज भी कर सकते हैं। आपकी कुछ समस्या हो, कुछ विषय हो, आपको कुछ सजेस्ट करना हो तो उसके लिए भी। और हमारे जो आज के मॉडरेटर हैं राजीव सक्सेना जी, जो महासेवा टास्क फोर्स के चेयरमैन हैं और फाउंडर डायरेक्टर हैं माई सोसाइटी क्लब नॉक के। तो हम तीनों का स्वागत करते हैं इस खूबसूरत लाइन के साथ में। और आप तमाम जो खूबसूरत हमारे साथ पार्टिसिपेट जुड़े दोस्तों, जो हमेशा जुड़ते हैं, कुछ रेगुलर जुड़ते हैं, कुछ लोग नए लोग जुड़ते हैं जो डेली हमारे जुड़ते हैं, उनके लिए तमाम, और संजय रेगो जी के लिए एक बेबाक आवाज है हमारी मुंबई की और बड़े अच्छे से हर विषय को रखते हैं, उनके लिए खूबसूरत लाइन से मैं स्वागत करूंगा। उसके बाद मैं बागडोर आगे के लिए राजीव सक्सेना जी को सुपुर्द करूंगा। तो दोस्तों इस खूबसूरत लाइन के साथ में संजय रेगो जी का स्वागत करता हूं कि पसीने की स्याही से लिखे पन्ने कभी कोरे नहीं होते, पसीने की स्याही से लिखे पन्ने कभी कोरे नहीं होते, और जो करते हैं मेहनत, उनके सपने कभी अधूरे नहीं होते, और जो करते हैं मेहनत उनके सपने कभी अधूरे नहीं होते। इस खूबसूरत लाइन के साथ में आप सभी के सपने पूरे हों, तमाम जो इश्यूज हो आ रहे हैं आपके कोऑपरेटिव हाउसिंग सोसाइटी के, और हाउसिंग सोसाइटी में जो सॉल्यूशन क्लाउड बेस होता है उसको लेकर दोस्तों। तो आप हमारे दोनों कीनोट स्पीकर का आप तमाम लोगों की तरफ से मैं स्वागत करता हूं, महासेवा की तरफ से और MNS मीडिया न्यूज सर्विस की तरफ से दोस्तों। और इससे आगे की बागडोर के लिए मैं आवाज और आगाज करता हूं, वेलकम करता हूं राजीव सक्सेना जी को। राजीव सक्सेना जी, प्लीज वेलकम सर।
थैंक यू शर्मा जी, एंड आज की शाम के वक्त की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं और सबका स्वागत आज के इस वेबिनार में, जो हम पिछले 6 महीने से करते आ रहे हैं। और इसका जो श्रेय जाता है वो हमारे जो गुरु हैं CA रमेश प्रभु जी, महाराष्ट्र सोसाइटी वेलफेयर एसोसिएशन के चेयरमैन हैं, जिन्होंने हम लोगों को अवेयर करे सोसाइटी के इश्यूज के बारे में, जनरल सब्जेक्ट्स के बारे में, रेरा के बारे में, और ऐसे बहुत अलग अलग टॉपिक के बारे में। जैसे अभी कल का जो सब्जेक्ट था, आज हम एक नए सब्जेक्ट को लेकर आए, जिससे कि हम हमारी जो हाउसिंग स्टडी कम्युनिटी है उसमें एक पारदर्शिता ला सके, लोगों को अवेयर कर सके, और जिससे कि एक अच्छा कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी में एक अच्छा कोऑपरेटिव माहौल बने। ये एक उद्देश्य है जिसके से हमने इस मुहिम को चालू किया है। तो धन्यवाद शर्मा जी, आपका ये आप इतने टाइम से करते आ रहे हैं और हम सबको एक अलग अलग अवसर प्रदान करते हैं इस प्लेटफॉर्म के ऊपर। तो थैंक यू वेरी मच। और आज के जो हमारे स्पीकर हैं मिस्टर एडवोकेट संजय रेगो जी, वो बहुत एमिनेंट स्पीकर हैं, बहुत अच्छा उनको इस सब्जेक्ट के बारे में जानकारी है। और आई एम श्योर आज यहाँ पे जितने लोग भी हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं वो इस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक के से कुछ ना कुछ लेके जाएंगे। हम लोगों ने नॉमिनेशन के बारे में काफ़ी बातें करी, हमने विल के बारे में बातें करी हैं, लेकिन ये हर रिलीजन में इसका एक अलग-अलग पहलू है, क्योंकि हमारी जो कंट्री है, डेमोक्रेट कंट्री है, इसमें सब तरह के लोग रहते हैं। यहाँ पे मुस्लिम है, सिख है, ईसाई हैं, क्रिश्चियंस हैं, तो काफ़ी काफ़ी इस रिलीजन के लोग रहते हैं, और वो सब अपने-अपने रिलीजन के हिसाब से उनकी कुछ चीज़ें गवर्न होती हैं। तो इसका इम्पैक्ट हमारे जो सोसाइटी के राइट्स है, हमारी जो सोसाइटी में हमारी प्रॉपर्टी के राइट्स है, उनका क्या इम्पैक्ट होता है, किस तरह से हम इसको कर सकते हैं। आज हम बहुत प्रैक्टिकल अप्रोचेस के बारे में सुनेंगे संजय जी के साथ में। ऑब्वियसली ही विल आल्सो टॉक एंड इन्फॉर्म अबाउट दी प्रोविजंस क्या है हमारे बायलॉज में, सारे बायलॉज में, जो थोड़े हमको पता है ऑलरेडी, आई एम श्योर काफ़ी लोगों को मालूम होगा, बट उसका जो इंटरप्रिटेशन है, उसका जो इम्प्लीकेशंस है, वो कैसा है, उसके प्रैक्टिकल एस्पेक्ट्स को आज हम समझेंगे। कि मैंने बताया कि आज का हमारा जो सब्जेक्ट है वो विल एंड एस्टेट प्लानिंग की सब्जेक्ट नया है। बहुत लोगों ने सुना नहीं होगा एस्टेट प्लानिंग के बारे में। विल के बारे में सबने सुना होगा, लेकिन एस्टेट प्लानिंग में बहुत सारे सब्जेक्ट्स आते हैं, बहुत सी चीज़ें आती हैं। वो क्या क्या डॉक्यूमेंट है, क्या क्या ऐसे इंस्ट्रूमेंट है जो हमारे प्रॉपर्टी के राइट्स के बारे में बताते हैं, वो आज हम एडवोकेट संजय रेगू जानेंगे। थोड़ा सा ब्रीफ में आपको इनके बारे में बता दूं। Sanjay ji is a practicing lawyer and is a chartered accountant by his qualification. He also holds a PG diploma in security laws. He is a member of Society of Trust and Estate Professional, expert in drafting wills, trust structure, and advising family arrangements agreements. Sanjay is a proprietor of Rigo and Associates. So here we go with Advocate Sanjay Rigo ji. Over to you, Sanjay sir.
Thank you राजीव जी for this kind introduction. Good evening everybody. ये जो subject जो है about wills and estate planning, ये मैं सिर्फ कोऑपरेटिव हाउसिंग सोसाइटी का जो प्रॉपर्टी का इस मैटर के बारे में मैं बात करना चाहता हूँ. Though estate planning is a very wide topic and covers all sorts of assets, I would like to focus that more on property law related matters relating to flats in corporate housing societies. Now, what happens is about 50 to 60% of property disputes that happen relate to, which are in courts, relate to properties. And this is because of the fact that most people do not have in place estate plans. People have myths about wills and estate planning. Some say I do not have much assets to bequeath. Others say I have nomination. People are under the mistaken impression that nomination is equal to succession of property to one's loved ones. I have a very small family. My family is united. If I talk of making my will, my family will get upset. People think will writing is complex and complicated, but that depends on how and the way you approach it. There are some people who say, baat ki baat hai, main baad mein will likh lega. And some others say, if I write my will, something will happen to me. These are all misnomers. And no time is an incorrect time to write one's will. The sooner one makes a will and keeps it in place, that is the simplest tool to protect your loved ones. What does estate planning typically help you with? One is to pass on your property to your loved ones, or some people may want to give their property out to charity. Others may want to give it out to some people who have looked after them, where their own family members have deserted them. Writing a will is one of the most tax-efficient manners of bequeathing your estate to your loved ones or to anybody whom you desire to bequeath your property to. It is very flexible. You can rewrite your will and revoke the earlier will if and when you want to. It provides guidance on the people who are going to handle your estate, who in your family will get what property and what share in your property, and it will help to mitigate disputes within the families. अगर dispute हम लोग को नहीं करने का है हम लोग का families में, तो writing a will सबसे आसान चीज है. इंडिया में अब तक कोई यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड नहीं है. हर रिलीजन के हिसाब से इनहेरिटेंस लॉज है, be it for Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Parsis. तो जो सक्सेशन होता है वो पर्सनल लॉ के हिसाब से जाना पड़ता है. The second aspect is अपना शादी के हिसाब से what is the effect of inheritance on marriage? What happens if somebody is not married? What happens if somebody gets married and does not have a will in place? What अगर किसी के स्पाउस के साथ लिव इन रिलेशनशिप में होता है, तो अगर आप विल नहीं लिखे गया, तो what is the impact of that? All these are some things which have to be taken into consideration. Yet in this presentation हम लोग personal laws, property laws, stamp duty, tax, महाराष्ट्र कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज एक्ट एंड रूल्स और लॉज रिलेटिंग टू नॉमिनेशन के ऊपर हम लोग बात करेंगे. अभी वेयर हिंदूज आर कंसर्न्ड, you have people who have not made their wills and something may happen to them, they may die intestate without a will, and those who have made their wills or those who want to make their wills, what is the impact of their estate if they do not make their wills? Property can be held in an HUF, property can be held by a Hindu outside the HUF. What happens to the share of daughters? What happens when an HUF ka deemed partition hota hai? What is the impact of the death of a co-partner? And what happens to class 1 legal heirs? If you do not make a will, then your property gets bequeathed to your class 1 legal heirs. Or class 1 legal heirs जो होता है is like your mother, daughter, spouse, your brother, your son. Class 2 legal heirs start with father and other related legal heirs. So only when there are no class 1 legal heirs will the estate devolve on class 2 legal heirs. When you have testamentary devolution, अगर आप will करेंगे तो उसी हिसाब से you can bequeath your entire property to anybody you want to, be it your relatives or be it to anybody you want to. Co-partnership property, अगर the property is held in an HUF or outside your HUF, the property can be bequeathed. So if a co-partner holds a share in the property, that can be bequeathed. If he does not make his will, then the property will go according to succession law. That is to say, 1/3 to a widow, 2/3 to lineal descendants. If he does not have if he does not have children, then half to widow and the rest to the other lineal descendants. If he does not have kindred, then the entire property goes to widow and likewise. So, agar will nahi hai, then it goes according to succession law, even where Christians are concerned. Where Muslims are concerned, it depends on what kind of Mohammedan law applies to people. If Sharia law applies, then you can bequeath only up to 1/3 of your property according to your will, and the rest goes to your legal heirs. You can also look at gifting a certain portion of your property and bequeathing the remaining portion of your property, while the rest of your property can go to your legal heirs according to your succession law. If a Muslim marries under the Special Marriage Act, the Muslim law will not prevail, but Indian Succession Act will prevail, which means that under the Indian Succession Act, you can bequeath your entire property and not 1/3 of your share. Where Parsis are concerned, also inheritance law in the Indian Succession Act will apply. What happens if a Parsi does not make his will? It goes according to the succession rules for Parsis. Like when a person dies leaving a widow and children, then it goes to them equally. If there is no widow, then it goes to the children equally. If parents are also alive, then each of the parents receive a share. So what is more important in this is that if you make your will, you can bequeath your property in, say, your flat to whomever you want. You can bequeath a portion of your flat to one person and the rest of the portion to another person. So you can have joint ownership in the flat, which is bequeathed. In an estate plan, you can do estate planning either through your will, or if you don't make your will, as I said earlier, through intestate succession, or you can even gift or do it through family succession, family settlement. Or through the will, if you've got minor children, special children, or you've got aged parents, you can do a trust through the will, what is called as a testamentary trust, through whom you can bequeath your property. I will discuss about nomination later and how the impact of nomination is vis-a-vis the wills which are in place. जैसा मैंने पहले कहा, wills is the most simplest and tax efficient and smoothest way in bequeathing your property. You can modify your will through a codicil, or you can make a fresh will which will override the earlier will. It is the most cost-efficient way of managing your inheritance. If you have a will in place, you do not have to go follow your rules of succession. Unless it is, say, a specific region-specific law, or it is example where Muslims are concerned. Through your wills, you can appoint a guardian to look after the property for your minor children, for your, say, your aged parents, or for special children. You can appoint executors to look after and distribute your property the way you want to. And though you are writing a will can always be challenged. But the manner in which you write the will help you to resolve disputes between your legal heirs. And at this point in time, there is no estate duty or no tax on transfer of property through a will. A person writing his will should have full mental capacity. He should not be somebody who is, extremely sick, who does not have mental capacity. Because the will, an executor is somebody who carries out the wishes of the testator. The question is, अगर मेरा कोई बेटा US में है या UK में है, can I appoint him as the executor? Or should I make resident Indians as the executors? Legatees are those who receive benefits under the will, जिसके through the property can be passed on to that person. Witnesses are those who will attest your will. And whether registration is compulsory. Registration is not mandatory, not compulsory, but it goes a long way in proving that a will is not a forged will or a fake will in the event of a dispute in court. And lastly, a codicil is one that amends a previous will through small amendments that you want to make. If you want to make a fresh will with a significant amount of disposition that you want to make as compared to your previous will, it is better to make a fresh will. You can bequeath the property, as I said, in the manner in which you want to. You can also bequeath it by giving life interest to your spouse or giving right of residence to your spouse. You can bequeath a share of your interest in the immovable property. Rather than bequeathing the entire property, you can bequeath a part to equally to your children, let us say. So if you do not specify the property in your will, it will fall as part of the residual of your estate, and whoever you're giving the residue of your estate to, that person will get this part of the property if it forms part of the residue of the estate. This is a slide which is talking about what should you do to prevent a will from getting disputed. Choosing your executors, choosing the correct executors who will be independent. Instead of choosing somebody who does not, who is uneducated and who may not be able to stand as witness in the event of a dispute with the will, is something that you may need to look at. Second is the role of an executor. The executor should be somebody who understands what the role of the executor is, that he should be able to distribute the assets to the concerned legatees and be able to be a mediator with the legatees in the event of a dispute between them. What is the timing and circumstance of writing a will? As I said, there is no specific age to write the will, but you should write a will at a time when you are in a free mind to make a will. You are independent in writing your will. You are not at the mercy of your children while making a will. You are not at the mercy of anybody while making a will. You are not on a sick bed while making a will. So writing your will at the right time is the most crucial. Who should be your witnesses? As I said, witnesses should be people who will be able to stand up in court as for evidence. Like you can have a family friend, you can have a neighbor. I'm not saying that you cannot have this thing, but you should avoid having people who will not be traceable in future. Next is bequest and asset profile. Depending on the type of assets. Now today we are focusing our attention only on property. So depending on whom you want to bequeath this immovable property, you should decide on disposing this property through the will. Nominees and legatees, this discussion I will take separately because there is a lot of confusion around nominees and legatees. The will is not required to be registered, as I said earlier, but it is preferable to register a will if you have a number of legal heirs, if a person is of senior age, and there is a threat of litigation. Not that a will which is registered cannot be challenged. Videography and medical certificates, are they compulsory? There is no obligation to get your will videographed or get a medical certificate. But having in place a medical certificate from a doctor, especially if a person is of a very advanced stage, will go a long way to prove that that person is mentally fit to make his will. Prohibitions imposed by a testator. Can I put in the will that if somebody challenges the will or challenges the bequest under the will, he will be barred from the will? This is something that has not been tested as yet, but it serves as a deterrent so that a person just does not challenge the will for the sake of challenging the will, for getting your the other legatees to the negotiating table. So it serves as a deterrent, but it is not something that will prohibit somebody totally from the legacy. When should somebody wake his will? As I said earlier, no time is the right time. But if you have got married or had a second marriage, or one is in a live-in relationship, it is better to always update your will. If situations with your children have changed, or one is divorced, or one has remarried, it is better to update one's will. Ensuring, suppose you want your person is fearing some terminal illness, or one is having some medical issues, it is best to decide of one's making will where till such time things do not get into an adverse situation. Will is not required to be probated except in certain circumstances. For example, for Hindus, Jains, Buddhists, Parsis in Calcutta, Chennai, and Mumbai, and for in certain other conditions, a probate is required to be done. Otherwise, a probate is not compulsory. For Indian Christians and Muslims, it is not compulsory, and in other jurisdictions, it is not compulsory. Letters of administration. What is a probate? A probate is a seal of a competent authority, of a competent court, to say that the will is genuine and can be acted upon. Letters of administration are issued where there is no will, or there's a will in place but an executor has not been appointed, or where the executor has refused to accept responsibility for undertaking his office as an executor. A succession certificate is issued where there are only movable assets and there is no will, and in certain cases where there is no nomination also, where banks and societies also insist on a succession certificate. A testamentary trust. This comes into play when you want to defer giving your the legacy to the legatee. For example, अगर आपके पास minor children है, or you want to protect your wife and children, or you have got a special child, it is better to have in place a testamentary trust so that they are looked after up to a certain age. For example, till the children attain the age of majority. You would not want them to have the entire control over the property. So, testamentary trust, which is done through the will, there is no stamp duty, but there is only a probate fee if the will is probated. And the executor through the testamentary trust acts in the same manner as an executor acts in a will. Okay, you can have provisions relating to successor trusteeship and how the asset can be distributed or handed over to the legatees once they reach a particular age. Can be structured in a manner that you can have in place the trust deed which forms part of the will, or provisions relating to the trust. Coming now to family settlements. Where family settlements are concerned, they are not a will, but they are an agreement where family property is concerned. If your property has been owned jointly by your family as a whole, you may want to avoid disputes by having a family settlement in place. Or if you want to have release deeds where some members of the family want to release their rights in favor of other family members, you can have release deeds to release their right in favor of them. There is minimal stamp duty where release deeds are concerned, especially where residential and ancestral property in Maharashtra is today. It's an effective tax planning mechanism and only when you want to release it will you have to do it through a proper registered release deed. Otherwise, a family settlement does not need to be registered. Only the underlying documents need to be registered. Gifts can be given during your lifetime, especially gifts in a cooperative housing society. What can be, but it has to be effected through a registered gift deed. Presently, the stamp duty on a gift between certain family members is only, say, 200 rupees between husband to wife or between parents to the lineal descendants. But there is a 3% stamp duty of gifts between siblings or from children to the parents. Now, a gift of shareholding in a society to family members, in my opinion, doesn't require that minimal transfer fee of 25,000. The society cannot or should not normally object to shares of the society being gifted by one member to another member, especially if they are two family members. Concept of gifting a part of your shareholding to another family member so as to make that family member a joint member. But by a primary member gifting a portion of his shareholding to a joint member doesn't mean that the primary member has to resign from his membership. So you can have the primary member and you can have the joint member. And I will come to the aspect of an associate member who need not have a share in the property. A gift can be done by a parent. Now, there are cases which come up where a senior citizen gives his property to his children and then children then ill-treat the parents. The question is, can a gift deed be revoked? Under the Senior Citizens Act, you can have cases where it's like a conditional gift deed, that in the event that the parents are not looked after or ill-treated, the gift can be revoked. One can go in for a conditional gift deed, but it is not advisable for senior citizens, especially of an advanced stage, to gift their property during their lifetime if that is the only property that they are owning. And it is preferable for them to do it by way of the will. Nominations. There is a lot of confusion about nominations. People feel that once I have a nomination, so I have title over the property. The nominee is only a trustee. In case of cooperative housing societies, the nominees are only trustees. They do not have beneficial ownership unless they are legal heirs or they are legatees. Only to that extent they will have title, but otherwise they are nominees upon the demise of the primary owner or the member whose interests are being have been devolved through the nomination till the nominee transfers it to the legal heir. The nominations can be changed during one's lifetime, and through succession law, that is, if you don't make your will, the legal heirs will override the nomination, and if one makes a will, that will override the nomination. And it acts as a protection to societies against claims of legal heirs. So a society is duty bound to transfer the property in the name of the legal heir, in the name of the nomination, till the nominee identifies the legal heir and transfers it to the legal heir concerned. Okay. Now, a member can nominate more than one person as nominee. So one can have, if one has 3 children, one can make it in 3 equal shares the nomination, just to give them comfort that they are nominees. Not that because they are nominees, they will all get the property. You may bequeath the property to one of them to the exclusion of the other 2, because you may give some other property to the other 2 children. Nomination is temporary in nature and is not permanent in nature. People feel that once I have a nomination in place, I don't need to do anything. But a nomination is only temporary, and therefore the nominee has to transfer the shares to the legal heir concerned. A nominee cannot alienate or sell the property without the consent of the legal heir. The property can, you will require to get the legatees to agree to a nominee to as a trustee to, let us say, sell the property, but with the confirmation of the legal heir on the sale deed. The executors can be admitted as members on wills against an indemnity in the similar manner as a nominee. Here again, the executor is like a trustee for the legal heirs till such time as the executor, either he is required to dispose of the property and distribute the money amongst the legal heirs, or he transfers the property to the legal heirs according to the will. Once the will is recognized by the legatees, the MC, the managing committee of a society, has to recognize the executor as a provisional member. Now, a provisional member, according to the recent amendments, can also have voting rights, and therefore, if an executor is also a provisional member, he will also have voting rights till such time as the legal heirs are brought on record as the true beneficial owners, legal and beneficial owners of the property. A primary member can bequeath his shareholding as per applicable succession law, which I discussed earlier, or as per his will. In a similar manner, if there is a joint member, that is a person who is jointly owning a flat, he can bequeath his share in that flat independent of the primary member. So a primary member can bequeath his share to one particular child, and the joint member can bequeath his share to another child. An associate member not having a share in the flat, if he is an associate member, he will remain as an associate member until he or she is a nominee of the primary member, or he is a legatee under the will. In case of intestate succession, that is to say where I have not made a will and there is no nomination, provisional membership will kick in. That is to say, a person can be made a provisional member, and I will come to the provisions relating to provisional membership in my next slide, till the heirship is finalized. And a society will have a charge upon the share and interest of a member or a past member or a deceased member to the extent of the dues payable by such a member to the society. So if a member dies, the amount outstanding to the society will be a charge payable to the society, and only when that is payable will the society be able to transfer or should transfer the shares to the legatee or to the concerned nominees concerned. Yeah. Where provisional membership is concerned, on the death of a member, the society is required to transfer the share and interest on the basis of a will or other testamentary documents or succession certificate or a legal certificate or a family arrangement executed by persons who are entitled to inherit the property of the deceased member. The managing committee can now, on the basis of an application by the provisional member, transfer the shares subject to this. So it is only provisional and is temporary in nature. They are only, the nominees as provisional members are only temporary, as I said, and it is their duty to find out who the legal heirs and transfer it according to the succession law or according to the will or the testamentary document. What happens if there is no nomination made? The society has got the power to decide who will be the legal heir or representative. And if there is no legal heir who comes forward, the society can issue a public notice, and if there is nobody still who comes in, then the property will vest in the society. As I said, a provisional member has voting rights. He has a right to vote. He also has a right to stand for election, but that is like that of an associate member. That's all for now.